Hi, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stamping A to Z. For those of you who are new, Stamping A to Z is a series I started just over a year ago. I go through products that we offer and I show you how to use them and many different techniques on things that you can do with that specific product of the week. So this week we're going to be looking at the cotton paper, which is in our new, it's newly released, the Eden's Garden, it's not a suite, but it's a collection anyways. It's going to be in our new mini. So the cotton paper is a while supplies last only. So if you like it, get your hands on it before they run out, because it's only, I don't believe it'll be offered in the mini itself. I think this is just this is an early release. So they put some products to go with the bundle that the Eden's Garden has. So, is there anything else? I guess I should introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I am Linda. I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. So if you're watching for the first time, thanks for coming in, popping on and watching. If you think your friends will enjoy it, please share the video with them. The more the merrier. And also feel free to comment. I do try and check as I go along. I find it more fun to try and interact while I'm crafting, so I'm not just feeling like I'm talking to myself. So let me turn you around and we'll get started. The awkward transition, and I just realized I forgot to check my volume here. Make sure that you can hear me. Okay, let's see if it'll zoom in. It doesn't like to zoom in once it's already started. So anyways, it is what it is. Hopefully that's good. This is where you can find my store if you are looking to find the products that I show. The host code for November is this. You can always use that. I'm just going to turn on my iPad here so I can see comments. And off we go. Okay, so this is the cotton paper. It is quite similar. I did show it a little bit last day when I did go over the whole Eden's Garden collection. But today I'm going to show you different ways that you can use this paper. So there is kind of a waxy, more glossy side, and then there's kind of the matte, more cottony side. It is thicker than tissue paper, and it is much stronger than tissue paper, but it can do a lot of the same things that you would normally do with tissue paper. So something to keep in mind. It comes in a pack of 10 sheets. There's 5 of the Evening Evergreen and 5 of the Soft Succulent, which are both in colors, are new in colors for this year. So that is how they come, and so they're 10 sheets for $11. Not bad at all considering the number of sheets and what you can do with them. So the first thing I'm going to show you, which I can't remember if I showed it last week or not. I just have a piece of the cotton paper and it holds texture really well. So if you go and crinkle it up as much as you want, as much or as little, and then you crinkle it. Now, I do find it's harder to tell which side is the glossy and not once you've crinkled it, but you probably can't tell on the video, but I can still see it. So as you can see, it holds those crinkles really, really well. And then all you need to do from there is get some glue. You could use the stamping seal. You can use, I just find the glue is a little bit more forgiving, and you can move your sheet around and crinkle it a little bit more. So you want to keep as much of the crinkle well, I guess it depends on the look you're going for. But I would like as much crinkle as possible. So you can see, and I made a mistake. I should have done this beforehand. Now that it might be difficult. I wanted to show you how nicely it tears, and the thing with the nice, of course, now that it's kind of glued, it's a little bit more difficult. I just wanted to show you though, I don't know if you can see that, but it has the nice kind of frayed, like you really don't have to work at it to get the wispy fray. Of course, don't glue it down first if you want to tear it. My end game project, I did die cut it. I did make the mistake though of die cutting it before it was dried. So I did lose a lot of my crinkles when I threw it through the Big Boss machine. So I'll show you. I die cut it with the scalloped dies. See, I don't know if you can see, but a lot of my wrinkles, it got pushed out because my glue wasn't dry. So just make sure if you're going to roll it through that your glue is dried. Your other option is to do a torn edge and just paste it on like that. So with this, I just used the Whimsical Trees dies, and these are the there's stars from the mini, oh, what are they called? I can't think what they're called. Cute stars, I think. So they're sticky stars. And then this is the cork paper, also in the mini, with the happy wishes to you and yours. And that comes from the Words of Cheer, I believe. So yeah, a little bit, and I don't know if you can see the background is embossed with the Merry Melody folder. That also can be found in the mini catalog. So total mismatch of products, but it makes for a cool card. So you can see, like, this is way more crinkled and looks way nicer. So if you want to keep it crinkled and you want to run it through the die machine, just make sure you set it aside and let it dry first. So that's your first thing that you can do with these tissue paper. The next is I've cut a few strips. These are 1/2-inch strips. It doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to spray them with some water with our, what are these called? Spritzers. And you don't need a lot of water. I just want to make sure I got water everywhere. I'll just kind of push it through the water, make sure it's wet. And then I'm just going to take a pen. I'm going to take my strip and I'm going to roll it around my pen. I don't know if they're quite, this one feels quite dry. Let's see, I'll get some more water on here. You want it to be, and as you, I can tug on it quite a bit and it's not tearing. So it's actually quite nice from that sense that, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to spritz it while it is on here because it just, that little end is very dry. Okay, and then all you have to do, I can't remember which, I don't think I used this pen when I did it, but anyways, and then you just want to make sure that you let it dry. You can do it towards the glossy side or the cotton side, whichever you prefer, or you can do a little bit of both, which is what I did just to get a mixture of colors. Once again, I'm just gonna give it a bit of a spritz here. Make sure, yeah, see, it does need to have a fair amount of water for it to want to hold. And as you can see, it doesn't fall apart, like tissue paper would just fall apart in your hand. And the nice thing too is the color doesn't run. So that's always good. And you don't want to do it too tight that it's hard to get off your pen. But this pen has even some, like a texture to it. So I'm surprised it's even sliding off. Maybe a pencil would be the better tool to use. But it's working, so we're going to go with it. Just want that end. You'll see in my project that I didn't take the time to do this. And so I've got a couple ends that aren't very curly. So you might want to, or even if you had like a little thing of water that you could run it through, kind of like when you do paper mache or something, and you run it through the paste, you might want to do that with water. But you can see like this stuff is so nice to work with. You can really manipulate it without it falling apart or tearing. Let's see, it's all and don't do like me and don't look where the spritzer nozzle is going and spray yourself. There we go. So those, and then I have to let them dry. And then once they're dry, and I'm just gonna wipe my workspace here so I don't wet everything. Okay, so here are my little wispy dried ones. And as you can see, I said I didn't take the time to curl some of the ends, and they were just loose, so they're not as pretty. But the ones that were tightly curled, you can just kind of stretch them out, and you've got some nice curly Q decoration. And I don't know if you recognize this. It is the, I don't know if I'll be able to open it because I tied this. I shouldn't have tied this. It is the Tombstone box. It is also found in our mini catalog. It is meant for Halloween, obviously being a tombstone box. But if you, I cut, so tombstone boxes start out looking like so. So they have like the little edge, and then they've got the tombstone. So to kind of change the look of it, I cut off the edges. And then for this top part, I just kind of angled the corners instead of having these straight corners, and I punched some holes so that it looks more like a tag. And then you just have your little box. And these boxes, by the way, are perfect size for a gift card. I don't know if I had one. I don't know where it went. But anyways, trust me, a gift card fits in here perfectly. So you could still buy the Halloween tombstones and still make them usable for Christmas. And I just stamped with regular ink the Evening Evergreen, and then I used Whisper White for snowflakes. I added this is from the Whimsical Suite as well, the iridescent snowflakes. And then the saying, the greetings from Frosted Gingerbread, and then with the tag punch. So yeah, another fun way to use the tissue paper. Now, here's another fun one. Let me just move these out of the way. Okay, we have our, so again, here's the glossy side and then the cotton side. You can actually, which I forgot to do, you can heat emboss this paper. I'm just gonna warm up my heat gun. Oh, good mercy, glad you made it. So are we only 6 hours difference now for you? Okay, so I'm going to stamp directly onto the paper. Now, something to keep in mind, it doesn't soak in to the paper like it would on cardstock, so it will stay wet longer. So that's how I'm going to use the embossing powder. I'm just going to get my clear powder here. And I wish I had this set, and I should have bought it, but the Evergreen Elegance. These 3 trees would be perfect. I have mixed and matched some old retired trees that I had to kind of get that same look going. So pardon my very old retired stamps, but you can get the same look using the lovely Evergreen Elegance. So there's, I don't know if any of you recognize these trees or where they are from. Let me know if you think you know where they are from. Just you're 8 hours. Oh, so you're even further apart now. My goodness, gotta love time changes. Okay. Here. Okay. So then I'm gonna close this up so I don't make a total mess. And I'm gonna take my clear embossing powder. Put it on. So as you can see, it does stay wet there's no big rush to get your powder on. It does not dry quickly at all. So you've got lots of time to do all your stamping and then do the powder. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got powder now. Set that aside. Shake that off. And then we get the noisy heat tool here. And of course, you don't want to hold it directly on and just hold it there, because it's probably a lot easier to burn this paper than it would be a thicker cardstock. So just be careful. I didn't have any troubles, but I did try to preheat my heat tool so that it wouldn't take as long. There we go. Now we're going. So there, so you get the look of just the ink look, but it's dry and it won't smudge, and you get a little bit of added texture, so that's always nice. Okay. So there's a nice, yeah, it really just looks like slightly texturized but stamped trees. And then I'm going to take my little rabbit. This is from the Nature's Beauty stamp set. This is in the annual catalog. And I'm going to add some snow as well. And this one I'm going to use the white embossing powder. So since I'm using the white embossing powder, I could use the green again, but I'm just going to use Versamark instead, so I don't have a greenish whitish bunny. I want a white bunny. And then I want some snow. Okay. Then we take our white powder here. Get the bunny. Oopsie, I got a little crazy with my stamp. So when you rock it and push it too hard, you get that edge. I don't really want. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, hi, Elon. Glad you made it. Okay, and then we'll just emboss this again. I love this Nature's Beauty. I really like the animals, especially for the winter scenes. They're very natural. They're not the cartoony. And of course, I'm not good at drawing, so I count on my stamps instead of drawing. So, and there was a bit of white powder on my clear, so it kind of went through. You could even, where's my chalk? If you really wanted to, hang on. I don't know if this one's alive. We'll see. If you wanted to add a little bit of extra snow everywhere else, you can just kind of. So then it looks like it's snowing everywhere, not just in the air. And now again, I don't know if you can see. It's a giant bunny. Yeah, he's a bit big compared to the trees, but that's okay. He was the focus. And then I'll show, so the one I did before, I did all in white because I didn't realize how much it was going to stick to my trees. So this was just all in one. So this was, the white is on to the green, the evening evergreen trees. So it's a little bit more subdued than the bunny that was done with the Versamark, but it was all done in white embossing powder. And he blends in a little bit more with the trees. I never noticed that he was that big next to the trees, but now that you say that, yeah, he's a little big. Oh, good. I'm glad you got your card package. Marcy, you'll have to let me know when you get yours because they were all sent well over 2 weeks before. So hopefully everybody will get them for club. All right, so that's, oh, and I don't know if you can see, I just like, it looks like it's on a canvas or like on a fabric instead of on a cardstock. So it just has a really nice soft look. And then I used the gold vellum that's in the mini catalog. So it just kind of, it's a soft pop. You didn't have a bag yet this week. Oh, well. So hopefully it'll come this week. We'll see. Okay, next. I have cut out a bunch of the cotton paper. I just used a die. So note, I tried to punch with a circle punch and it does not punch well. It kind of tears. I think it's just too soft. And so the punch has a hard time grabbing and punching it. So mental note, you want to use dies. It cuts really well with the dies. I did cut even 2 or 3 sheets. I might have even cut 4 at a time just because they are so thin. So you can do that as an option. Actually, I'm going to keep a couple of these out. I wanted to show you. Okay. So this one, I'm just going to take my stapler, and you probably don't have to go both ways, but I will just to kind of make it have a base. And then just like you would with tissue paper, just crinkle it up one by one. And you can make nice, beautiful flowers. Now, you could use a die that is more of a flower shape, and then it gives you even more shape. This one I just used a circle. You can use pretty much anything, really. And you can, like, if you want it flatter, you want it taller, and then just kind of uncrinkle it till you're happy with the look of it. And then you have a flower. Now the other option is, say if you had a cutout, pretend I had a cutout heart cardstock. And I don't know if you remember this from back in the day of school. We used to take our pens and we would do the whole scrunch with the tissue paper, and then, well, I think we kept the pen in, and then we put the glue on. So you'd probably want a smaller circle than this, and then you'd glue it down, and then you'd do the next one, and then you'd glue it down, and you'd glue it in the shape. So you'd end up having this really pretty kind of three-dimensional pop-up heart. So you can do that too. So here I cut the circles down even smaller than what I just showed you. And there's, I don't know, there's a few more layers in this one than there are in this one. And I did the exact same thing. And then I added, this is from the Merriest, what's it called? Merriest Moments bundle, which is in the mini as well. So here, so for those of you who are in club, you might recognize this if you already have yours. We are going to be playing with this set. You never did that in school? What? Oh, art class was my favorite in school. I used to love, especially in elementary. Anyways, this is the vellum paper. I don't know if you get the shimmery vellum paper. I used the back side of it, so it had kind of a white frosted look to it. And this is a really cool set because it has the hybrid embossing folder, so you can cut and emboss at the same time. It has the more detailed cut, and then it has the outline cut, which is what I used for the Whisper White. And then it has these nice leaves. So I just cut out a few leaves and added it to my flower. And these are the little gems that are in the annual catalog, but they're all the in colors. So I use this as Evening Evergreen. So yeah, you can just add a little flowery bling to your, so instead of doing a more intricate flower, you can do just an easy tissue flower as an option. So lots of fun things you can do with the tissue paper. One more thing, I don't have a finished project with it because I hadn't tried it, and then I saw Stampin' Up! Actually posted that you can do this. If I can find, you can actually color the tissue paper. If you want to go beyond the greens, this is Gorgeous Grape. Now, the one thing you do have to remember, it's very thin. It won't tear like you saw when I did the wet paper. It's very strong that way. Do I have this on the right side? You definitely don't want to be coloring it on the glossy side because it'll never take. This is the more cottony side, and it's still kind of bubbles, like it's not a rich color because it doesn't soak into the paper. But they did put it, as it dries, it does dry and it looks purpley. So they post, I'll try and post a picture of the flowers that they did, but they made them into purple flowers. So obviously if you work at it enough, you can get some nice different colored, you probably only want to use the, well, I guess you could turn the Evening Evergreen into like a navy blue or something if you wanted a different color that way. But I just wanted to show that that's an option as well. So you're not just stuck with the greens. So yeah, so I'm just going to show you the cards once again. So this was the first one with the crinkled look. Again, wait for it to dry before you run it through the dye so you don't lose all your crinkles like I did. Then we've got our wet curled paper. And then we've got our embossed look. And then we've got our flower. So I have a very green set of projects for you this week. But I guess the cotton paper is green, so that's what we we're working with. So anyways, hope you enjoyed that. Hope that gave you some ideas on using the cotton paper. It is lots of fun to use. I'm sure there's many more ways that you can come up to use the paper, and I just love how strong it is compared to tissue paper. It's much more forgiving. So thanks, Yolande. A green theme. Yeah, it's a very green theme. So anyways, that's what I have for you. Hopefully for those of you who are teachers and might be on holiday this week for, I guess it's reading week for university and November break for schools. We have the lucky, or I had the lucky brain idea to get flu shots today. So my boys are not very happy with me, and we're running off to get flu shots after this. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week and weekend. And oh, I am so excited. Our yearly onstage conference starts tomorrow night for Stampin' Up. So I'm going to get to see all sorts of new upcoming products and lots of fun techniques. Their conferences are so much fun. Even though they're online now since COVID started, they have done an amazing job. I can't wait to attend. So I will be doing that this weekend and hopefully sharing lots of new stuff with you guys soon. We'll see. Well, I don't know what's in store for next week, but hopefully you will join me again next week. And thanks for coming today, and we will see you next week. Bye.